Hello and welcome to a special Smaulgld report on money and currency. Bank of Italy warns against creating your own currency. Citizens are claiming the right to create scriptural euros. The citizens conjure euros out of thin air, just like the banks do. Create your own currency. So because cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are open source, anyone can create their own cryptocurrencies. And this does have banks nervous about the proliferation of cryptocurrency and their acceptance. We talked about that a week or so ago, how the head of the Deutsche Bundesbank was concerned but thought that the way to stop cryptocurrencies was merely just to make the current fiat currencies operate faster. Faster payment systems, he thinks, will stop cryptocurrencies. Well, now there's another, perhaps more insidious and even greater threat to banks' monopoly on the creation of money. It is the issuance of scriptural euros by citizens. Now, what are these scriptural euros? Well, they're euros issued by citizens themselves under a theory that they can autonomously create their own currency. It's based on an idea of collective property of money that affirms the right of every citizen to autonomously create scriptural money via their own accounting records, kind of just like the bank does. The theory of autonomous creation of scriptural currency holds that just as banks can conjure debt-based money out of thin air, so can citizens. And money thus created by citizens can then be used to extinguish their own debts. Sounds like paradise. You got your own printing press. You don't even need a cryptocurrency. You just make up however much fiat you need and you use it. But it sounds like it is a reality, at least in some instances. Apparently, citizen created euros have been accepted as payment. There's a gentleman on Twitter who shared his experience whereby his scriptural euros were accepted by Facebook as payment for advertising. I've attached correspondence here. It's half in Italian, half in English. But I looked at both, and it shows how he created 25 euros as payment to Facebook, and Facebook accepted his citizen-issued euros as payment. Now, in his correspondence, the gentleman informs Facebook that banks and citizens can create new euro in electronic form, and that he had just done so in the amount of 25 euros, and he's submitting it as payment. And he referred Facebook to his Facebook page, which I've linked to here, for more information on citizen-created scriptural euros. And Facebook responded by accepting his payment and noted while his payment was being accepted this time, such payments may not be honored in the future. Now, according to this gentleman, Italian citizens have created more than 1 billion scriptural euros since October 2016. Now, this all sounds somewhat fantastical. Citizens conjuring money out of thin air and having that money accepted as payment seems like an internet urban legend. Now, maybe I thought that this Facebook employee didn't want to argue over 25 euro. Maybe he was just humoring the guy, or maybe the correspondence itself was just fake. And certainly the claim that more than 1 billion scriptural euro have been created, it seemed far-fetched to me, and that any large sum of scriptural euros being accepted as payment seems even more far-fetched. However, Bank of Italy thought this was serious enough to respond last month, and they issued a statement and a paper. And they issued a warning about the creation of scriptural euros. And attached to the warning, they actually created a position paper, a PDF, explaining the Bank of Italy's position on scriptural euros. It's entitled, and I've attached a link to it here so you can read it in Italian or you can have it translated, Scriptural Money Created by Citizen. The paper notes that the purpose of writing the paper was to avoid these dangerous misunderstandings involving scriptural euros. The paper claims that only the Bank of Italy can issue legal currency, and this is because they need to have that power in order to guarantee the overall confidence in currency and the stability of its value over time. Paper further notes that payment systems through script writing is an activity allowed by law only to authorized purchases such as banks, electronic money institutions, and other payment institutions. And the paper concludes that initiatives for the creation of an autonomous scriptural currency have no legal basis and calls on citizens not to use such forms of currency. Now, while that's all may be true, the scriptural euro issue may not go away and may have more people asking questions about the creation of money out of thin air. If banks can do it, why can't we? hat tip to VJ who alerted me to this developing story. Thank you very much for listening.